I think NFTs are probably the most secure way of verifying ownership. So from that standpoint, if I buy something like a painting, how do I know the certificate is not a replica? You know, how do I know it's real?
Hello, everybody. We are here with Aleksandra Artamonovskaja, better known like Aleksandra Art. So your surname is really interesting. And you are the head of art of Trilitech.
Yes.
Can you explain to us what is Trilitech and what is your business?
Okay, thanks so much for having me. Hello, hello. So I was recently appointed as the head of art at Trilitech, and essentially I'm overseeing the arts across the Tezos ecosystem. So we're focusing on adoption for the blockchain activity. Okay. So Tezos is...
What is Tezos?
For those of you that don't know, Tezos is an actual blockchain. And it has become quite famous for its art. Starting from early 2021, there was a number of marketplaces that allowed room for experimentation and offered ways for different artists to express how they couldn't before. Some of it includes new technological solutions, having sort of like code-based works. Later on, it also developed into having platforms for generative art, for AI arts, and many more. So it's a place where artists experiment, where they discover the blockchain space, and I'm looking forward to telling you more about it today.
Okay, so there's a group of artists that work with Tezos.
Tens of thousands of artists. Yeah.
Okay, and you are also partner of some cultural institutions like
that is correct. Yes. Yeah. So Tezos as a blockchain has seen very wide adoption across the museum sector because for us, it's very important to focus on the existing community growth, but it's also important to provide the space for artists that are more established, the right way to communicate with a wider audience, but also for the wider audience to learn more and in a way demystify this technology and see how can it be used in a creative way. And so part of that is we have a partnership with the Serpentine in London. We have a partnership in Musée d'Orsay in France, where recently we had Agoria, one of the artists on Tezos and the famous DJ, released a work where visitors could come and interact with a piece and mint a unique NFT thanks to our platform FX Hash. And another example is MoMA used Tezos for a postcard project where users could around the world send cards to each other, and it was documented via the blockchain. So there are many programs that we run internationally. We also have WAC, which is a program for museum professionals to come and listen and understand from different international speakers how they can use or leverage the power of blockchain. So it's ran by our partner, Diane Dubé, and we've sort of like been supporting this initiative for a long time. And actually today I'm speaking on a panel about museums and blockchain. Okay,
and so in the future, what is the business from, I don't know, in the next 6 months or 1 year?
Yeah.
About blockchain, about intelligence, artificial intelligence.
Oh, that's a big one.
In relation with museums and cultural institutions, for example.
I think there's so many creative use cases, and I see every month something new.
Okay.
So I think the main thing is that this technology, it's not static, right? It's dynamic, it's evolving. So if you look at Tezos, there is a new update, always something new. In a month's time, we will see the release, well, maybe by the time we publish this, it's already going to be live. We will see Etherlink. And so Etherlink is another step for the Tezos ecosystem where the chain will be EVM compatible. So this means that more people that before used to program on Ethereum, another blockchain, can now come and easily build tools on Tezos as well. So I think in this direction, what we're seeing is a greater compatibility between different platforms to interact with each other.
Okay.
And I think the goal is essentially for the users to have a more seamless experience, and sometimes they won't like sometimes they have wallets which are allowing them to just collect an NFT without always learning about the complexities that go behind this, because that's something, I guess, that might have prevented people from a wider adoption.
But so the goal is to democrate and to make the art more easier, I mean, for the large public, for a large scale of public.
I think that's a good way to put it. We've been speaking with one of the leading curators for media arts recently, and a challenge that museums sometimes sort of are exploring is a work of art. It's great, but it's sort of stuck there only for like a few people who can actually visit the museum to see. And so how can you, have the person maybe even own a piece of the art so they have this relationship with the artist, but also how can you bring it to the masses? And so this is where this interesting use of technology and different tools allows artists to experiment with creating a work, or maybe it's like a fragment of the original piece, but at scale, and then distributes the ownership of that piece across a wider public. And so I think the proliferation of culture can definitely benefit from the advancements of the technology.
Yeah. So, to be back a little, can you explain how Tezos become a brand that work with art? Because she was born like a digital value? No?
Well, at the beginning, it was just the technology, right?
Okay.
It was a chain that anyone can use. So the idea is like we don't own what you create. Like the idea here, what is interesting compared to many other technology tools is anyone can use it, and whatever they create, they own.
Okay.
So if someone builds something on the blockchain, it's theirs. Like we don't we have no control over it. So, and this is I think a mindset that a lot of people will need to understand when they think about Web3, when blockchain, is that now you are the owner of what you create.
But the art come before come later.
Yeah, so first you need to create a platform for artists. Like some artists, maybe they know how to code so they can create their own platform to sell art. But so what happened is you saw different developers come and build tools, and one of the tools was for an artist to come and to upload their work and create an NFT out of it. So they press a button, mint, and that kind of registers it on the blockchain, and now they're able to say, this is a work by me. I have, I don't know, 10 or 20 editions. Like you can set how many editions of the same piece you're distributing because it's a digital asset, right? You can sell copies. But now, on the other hand, when a buyer comes in and purchases the piece, it's an automatic, so you buy and automatically on the blockchain it's registered that this is now the new owner and the piece is transferred to the new owner. And this system, I guess, I mean, NFTs were since since they say 2014, 2016, that publicly artists could start using this technology. But I think what was the main, I guess, value add for Tezos at the time is that the chain was so efficient in its transactions that the fees were very low. So it would cost like $0.001 for someone to make the transaction happen. And on Ethereum, you would have to pay, I don't know, sometimes $500 to make the transaction happen. So it just made very easy and accessible for a very big range of artists to experiment. Like they were just using it as an experimentation platform, but then more and more collectors started coming, more and more galleries, like Fake Oil Gallery started coming. We saw platforms like Object come up. We saw like Hicket's Nook, Teia. So there were many different platforms that saw an opportunity to create something more out of it. So it was not just a space for experimentation, but we saw artists' careers become created based on the connection they developed in the ecosystem with their collectors, with the galleries, and what we saw over
real life.
In real life, like we are here today, and now Tezos sort of has proliferated to many different areas, and Trilitech, working with the Tezos Foundation, which is based in Switzerland, they saw an opportunity to sort of encourage this culture of connection and bring it to the bigger audience. And that's why now we're in Basel, and for the first time in history, we have an art fair called the Digital Art Mile, where different people come, and different galleries from around the world are showing their digital art that's registered on the blockchain, and people can come and experience it. And this is a very unprecedented, so it's a very exciting period of time.
Can you tell us about this art fair?
Yes, of course. So it was, it's organized by Arts Meta, which is also based in Switzerland. And so Tezos Foundation is the main partner of the fair, but they're working with all different partners. They have media partners, they have different galleries, and it's taking place from the 10th until 16th of June. And it's across three different events, which are on the same street. So one is at the Kino. Every day there's a series of talks. So yesterday there was a Rug Radio talk about collecting. There was a movie screening of the punk origin story. Today there is a museum day. So this is where I'm also speaking with some of the museum curators. Tomorrow they have another, I think it's Art Market Day with University of Zurich. Then they have a generative art day on Friday. Then there is a Space 25, which is showing the history of AI art. And then there's Space 31, which brings together objects, FX Hash, and a dozen of different galleries, each from different corners of the world, showing the best of the art that's on their platform. And visitors can come, they can collect an NFT, either Tezos or other currencies. They can even buy it in euros. They can collect postcards, they can collect physical pieces, they can collect video art. So it's a very big mix between physical and digital, because digital art is not only digital. Like the NFT can be digital, but the NFT it's mostly a certificate of ownership, but the representation of that piece can be physical as well.
But I think a lot of people are still scary about to collect NFT because they don't know the process well, and they are scared. Because what is this NFT? And so what you say about this, about the security, about the guarantee of collecting an NFT?
I think there are different reasons to be like maybe why this happens. So first is events like this is the main reason why we have sort of like been supporting physical presence, is so that they can come and talk directly to the curator and directly to the artist and see this. Second of all, I think NFTs are probably the most secure way of verifying ownership. So from that standpoint, if I buy something like a painting, how do I know the certificate is not a replica? You know, how do I know it's real? But blockchain doesn't lie. Like it's all automatic. So if anything, it's the most secure way to verify ownership. But then the third part, which I can see happening, is sometimes there, like in any other industry, there are people who are trying to take advantage, and there are certain scam websites that drain your wallet. So, but I think most people who get trapped in those is people who want to speculate, like people who want to make quick money and they click on a link to win $1 million. Like that is where the scams are. If you're a collector going to a platform like Object or to a known platform and you set up a wallet and you create an artwork from an artist that has a history of sales, then like I haven't seen those kind of problems come. Yeah. And it's the same as in the traditional world. Like you can look at the history of sales. You can look at the artist profile. You can look at which collections they've been curated in. You can look at the collectors. You can look at, so Fake Whale publishes, for example, articles, interviews with the artists. So all of this helps new people that come into the space to maybe evaluate which artists are more reputable or more, as you say, safe to collect. But at the end of the day, collecting is about art you love for the price you can afford. Mm-hmm. It's not about speculation. If you're going to speculate, you should be ready to lose money.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I hope this answers some of your questions.
Sure. If you want to speak something that I didn't ask you, feel free.
Well, I think if someone, for example, doesn't know where to start, I would recommend exploring some of the artists that are curated here today. I think we'll be showing some of the B-roll of some of the things that are happening at the Digital Art Mile today, and have a read through, because the stories of these artists speak for themselves, and a lot of these artists never really had a platform or someone to take them seriously until the new technology and the community that was built around this ecosystem allowed them to grow and really find an audience that they connect with. And I'm super excited to see more of that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.